Hey there, I'm Matt Nemetz with Focal Fuse, where the goal is to help you be seen, heard, and understood with captivating visuals. This is the video series where I learn, apply, and teach branding, design, and video with you. With that being said, let's get into it. So today I want to talk about the golden ratio and how you can apply it in your designs. Now you might be wondering, what is the golden ratio? It also goes by the names the golden means, the golden sequence, the divine proportion, and in mathematical terms they call it the Fibonacci sequence. It's a mathematical ratio that's used to create organic and visually pleasing compositions and layouts. So the golden ratio appears naturally in the galaxy and where the planets align, in hurricane patterns, the way seashells and flowers are formed. Basically anywhere you look you can find the golden ratio. Back in the ancient days they used to construct architecture using the same ratio. A lot of the buildings in Greece were formed this way, and a lot of these architectural, beautifully designed structures were created using this ratio. The way many books are designed, you can see the golden ratio being used, whether that's in the cover or in the layout of the actual pages, and making it visually pleasing for your eye to read. The golden ratio appears all the time through art, and you can see it most famously being used in the Mona Lisa. You can see it in Da Vinci's work. The Sixtine Chapel, Michelangelo painting on the ceiling, uses the golden ratio as well for their compositions. So why the golden ratio matters so much for designers is because it creates visually pleasing layouts and organically looking compositions that make your eye naturally drawn to them. You can see the golden ratio being used in logo designs such as Twitter, Pepsi, Apple, Google, National Geographic, and many, many more. The reason why the golden ratio is used so frequently is because it allows the designer to create visually pleasing, organic looking layouts, compositions, forms, and typography. Now let's head over to the computer and I'll show you how to apply it to your designs. So now that we're over at the computer, let's learn how to calculate the golden ratio. If math is not your favorite subject, I'm right there with you, and you can completely disregard this or take away just what you need to know. So in mathematics, two quantities are in the golden ratio if their ratio is the same as the ratio of their sum to the larger of the two quantities. So this illustration on the right shows the geometric relationship and hopefully will help you understand it a little bit better. So now that we got a screen recording going over here in Adobe Illustrator, I'm going to show you a little bit about how to use the golden ratio a little bit more in depth and not just talking about it. So first off, we're going to look at how to construct the golden ratio, starting off with just a square box. And you can use however many boxes you want, but for this example we're just going to use a standard 9 boxes. Now what you want to do is take this first square here, and we just want to make a copy of it by holding down Option and Shift and dragging down. So when you see it lock into place by having the snap to guides on, this will allow you to know that it's lined up perfectly. So we have 2 squares now, and what we want to do is drag out a third square, and like the golden ratio shows, we want to make this box just as big as the other 2. So now what we have is 3 boxes, and this one is aligned to the sum of these 2 boxes. Now this is just in its most simple form. Now if we would like to make this expanded, we can keep continuing to grow this, and what we do is ensure that these are lining up over here. Okay, so now we have our 4th box, and then we will hold down Option, Shift, and drag over again, and we want to keep creating another box that is equal to the sum of the previous box sequence. And once we have this, we want to drag down again and create another one.
Another one.
Now you can start to see, if we go in here and we find the ellipse tool, if we create circles inside of each one of these boxes. So to proportionally scale your golden ratio or design element up or down, what you want to do to make it bigger or smaller is either divide or multiply by the decimal 1.618. So we want to go ahead and divide it to make it smaller, and go ahead and plug in 1.618, and boom, this will automatically give us the size that we need to fill in this box. And if we do that again, go in here again and divide by 1.618, you can start to see that this is how we get our circles that we can use to then construct all sorts of visually pleasing designs, graphics, logos, forms, typography, you name it, it's been done. So what we want to do, we can create the basic target logo just by using this formula. So what we want to do is Command C to copy, Command F to paste it in place, and then come over here and divide by 1.618. Boom, now we got the smallest one. If we do that again, Command C, Command F to paste it in place, and then divide this again by 1.618. Boom, we have our second one. And then if we come in here and fill these in, you would be able to see that this is the target logo. That's one of the logos that I think is the most simplified and easiest to use and put into applications, to make patterns out of, to make marketing collateral, and all sorts of other things. So simple is better, and that's why you see many different logos being made and different designs and websites being framed and layouts being composed using this ratio. This ratio can be used in layouts. This is often what you could see in a magazine. So this is just one of the ways to create layouts. There's not any right or wrong way. As long as you're using the ratio, you can usually get some pretty great results. Now if we come down here, we can also use this ratio for spacing purposes. So if you use the circles or squares, that's often how I measure things. So yeah, this is just one way you can use the golden ratio to help space out different elements. And then if you would come in and get rid of them, then you can see that things can be then aligned. So I'll go back and take that out. So one of the other ways that the golden ratio is used is to scale type and create type scaling systems. And this is used for web design when you have your main copy, your header, and then your body copy. This system is often used, and it's also used in logo design and typography design and word marks. So what we want to do, let's say that we want to make this bigger. So we want to do an Option Shift drag to bring that up there. And then what we're going to do is come in here again, and this time we're going to multiply it by holding down Shift and the star for multiply by 1.618. Boom. And now we have our bigger version. And that could be used for a big header or a big title. This could be used for a subheader or a regular sized header. If we drag this down again, now we want to make it smaller. So what we're going to do again is divide by 1.618, and that creates our next smallest. And if I would just keep these left justified, it would be very easy, but I'm not going to do that. So if we do this one more time, divided by 1.618, so then you can really see how we start to create this golden ratio scaling system, which gives us very nice organically looking differences in our type. So coming down, you can see some of the ways that I've used it in my logo designs before. I just basically took the different circles and elements from the golden ratio original layout that we used, and I just took those squares and kept them in proportion to each other to reform different logos. And this was a redesign that I did for a high school. And then down here you can also see another way that this was used with circles to create a branding identity for this as well. So in photography, the rule of thirds is pretty similar to what the golden ratio is. It's not exact, but it gives you a pretty close measurement to align things where you want to be to create real natural looking compositions. So the rule of thirds definitely is one of the things that I keep in mind whenever I'm framing shots. So these are just some of the ways that I've used the golden ratio in my work. Hopefully this allows you to learn it a little bit more and apply it to what you're doing in your designs, and hopefully get a little bit of more understanding about it. If you already use it, please leave a comment below and let me know what are some of the ways that you use it, or if you have any questions, leave a comment and let me know. I'd be glad to get back to you. So with that being said, be on the lookout for more videos coming soon. If you like this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to turn on notifications. And if you think someone needs to see this, go ahead and share it with them. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next video.